Greetings guys and gals, this is Jabberwock bringing you the best in esports. Today we have StarCraft Brood War, the Shinhan Winners League, SKT1 versus Woongjin Stars Set 6. SKT1 is up 3-2 on Woongjin Stars. This is going to be Fantasy versus ZerO, and ZerO is a very good Zerg player for Woongjin Stars. Fantasy obviously playing at the top of his game lately. At the 12 o'clock position on Icarus, we have Fantasy in yellow. At the 9 o'clock position, we have ZerO in red as the Zerg player, so this is going to be a TVZ, which I do like a lot better than TVT. You guys know how much I hate TVT matchups. I just think that they're way too long, usually. Looks like these players are pretty even in terms of how many times they've played each other, and their stats looks like they're like 2-2, something like that. And a portrait of ZerO doesn't really look too much like ZerO, unfortunately, but you know, the effort is about 80% of well, the effort's there. We'll just say that. It looks like a 12 pool, 12 hatch going to go down for ZerO. His Overlord Scout going to be scouting in the right direction. Fantasy trying to do a block off at his bottom position, and he's really been kind of doing this lately. He did this against Calm in the OSL semifinals. He just is like to block off lately. It's kind of been his style of play. Another Overlord out, so this definitely is going to be a 12 hatch, 12 pool. And from the looks of it, Fantasy 3-2 versus Zerg players, much better against Terran players in TVT matchups. Not really so good against Protoss, like 8-6 or something like that is what it said. Extractor and spawning pool going down, so we are going to see a pool before hatch, which is very it's really interesting, because he's not going to have Zerglings out to do as much early pressure, or he is going to have Zerglings out to do early pressure, but it's not going to really be that effective because Fantasy's going to have this wall off here. Fantasy, for some reason, oh, that's why, because Calm 4 pulled him 2 times in a row, and he didn't have that block off. One time he lost, the other time he was successful in defending against it, and so now he just starts that supply depot whenever he can, so there's Zerglings can't run by, and this is pretty much going to negate everything that ZerO could put on early pressure wise. We do see 3 SCVs on that gas for Fantasy. ZerO has fast expanded to his natural expansion at that 930 position. Factory going out for Fantasy as well, so he's probably going to go for some early Vulture harass. Early Vulture play is what I'm assuming. Layer morphing in as well. And so Fantasy is not going to opt to go for Mech Marine against Zerg. He's going to go for more of a mech play, as he did get that gas fairly early. Has 1 Marine in the mix, but not even close to the critical amount that he needs if he was going to go for a Mech Marine play, and doesn't even have his Academy going down yet. So definitely going for a 1 base mech play as of yet. SCV scouting, possibly to scout for a 3rd base, but usually Zerg players at this point in the game only have 2 bases. If he was going to expand, it would be around nowish. That guy just looks absolutely dazed, just expressionless, and this block up is definitely going to be able to deter any type of early Zergling play, as I said before, that ZerO can put on. And Fantasy is just scouting all around, man. He actually might possibly be going for some type of proxy. You never really know with Fantasy. Fantasy can do some crazy stuff, and it's always awesome. And he's going for double starports. So double starports going up for Fantasy. He's going to go for Race, and this is going to be really interesting. We're going to see Mutalisk versus Wraith play. And out of the double starports, I think that Fantasy could produce quite a few Rays. He does scout ZerO's base. Just kind of did this blindly, I believe. I don't even think he scouted. I think that's his first scout that he's gotten on ZerO, and just blindly going for these dual starports. An early race. He's going to have these possibly a little bit before ZerO has his Mutalisks out. But if he doesn't scout this and he doesn't get something like Scourge, I think that ZerO is going to be in a slight bind just because Fantasy's going to have these Wraiths. He's going to have 2 Wraiths out by the time that this Spire pops, probably. The Spire's just almost done. There's the 2 Wraiths. Just as I was saying, the Spire probably has popped at now, but he's able to pick off an Overlord, and this is kind of like the Protoss versus, it's kind of like a PvZ where there's Corsairs out before the Spire, and I think that if he would have timed it just a little bit later, that ZerO would have made a few. He probably wouldn't have made any Scourge, which would have made it a lot differently. I think the Scourge are going to come into huge play unless Fantasy has really good micro and can micro against that, because I think that he made a few more Scourge than he did Mutalisk, which is going to help him defend against those Wraiths. But if Fantasy would have attacked just a slight second later, but here comes ZerO with this Mutalisk attacking the Wraiths. The Wraiths trying to do a little bit of micro. That bunker did go up just in time. Marines in the bunker and able to deter away that force. It looks like the Mutalisks are coming back again, able to snipe 1 SCV, 2 SCVs, but doing a very nice job, at the very least 3 SCVs going down there, and the cloak is being researched. More Mutalisks coming in, more Scourge coming in as well. The Scourge really not doing too much. Mutalisks just keep sniping SCVs. Fantasy in a little bit of trouble, but Fantasy really easily able to oh my gosh, Fantasy really easily able to micro against those Scourge, but he's just lost so many SCVs, man, just absolutely terrible. And I really think that he should have waited. I mean, there's no way he could have known when the Spire was going to pop, but wow, that was just absolutely ridiculous. Now he's going to have to run away from these Mutalisks. He's cloaking at the right time, engaging, able to pick off 1. Might be able to pick off a few drones as well, but there's just so many Mutalisks in the air at this point in time that there's no mining in the natural, but still just picking off so many SCVs, he can really afford to do that. And here comes Fantasy yet again without the Overlord. Now the Overlord is barely in sight, it looks like, and he's able to kill off all but 2 Wraiths, and just a huge advantage for ZerO. He looks a bit flustered. I think he didn't really want to lose those 2 Mutalisks, but now he has just so many Mutalisks, man. There's only 3 or 4. It's really hard to tell with Wraiths because they stack fairly well. It looks like there's 3 Wraiths left, able to pick off 1. 2 Wraiths deviate from the main group. But, oh man, Fantasy is going to lose some more SCVs, losing another SCV, and then ZerO just has enough forces to go straight for that bunker. Almost able to take it down, but not quite. It looks like that bunker is barely going to be able to be repaired. And now 3 Wraiths in the base of ZerO, picking off drones, which is very bad. Drones are terrible to lose comparatively to SCVs, just because you really need the larva for attacking units. The Wraith does go down to only 1 Wraith left in the mix. Fantasy desperately trying to resaturate his mineral line with SCVs, only has 1 Wraith and needs to be very careful not to lose it. He's going to be able to micro fairly easily against that Scourge, but here comes the Mutalisk yet again, just doing absolute terrible damage, man. Oh my gosh, they're just picking out so many SCVs. Fantasy GG's. ZerO just doing an absolute amazing job of microing his Mutalisks and doing harassment. And honestly, I don't like that that Wraith play from Fantasy, because you have to know that your opponent is going to go Spire, and even if he, I just don't like it. I just think Wraiths are way too fragile, and it really only works if you catch them by surprise, in my opinion, with the cloak, and you're able to kill off Overlords in the area. But, you know, doing his best job. But ZerO, man, ZerO's a very good Zerg player, so I honestly think he should have probably gone for some Medic Marine. Early fast expand, like 1 Rax into CC, 14 CC, something like that. Anyways, that's the cast, guys. If you like it, please subscribe to me. Please give me a like. Comment below, and we are tied 3-3. Let's go into set 7. I might cast set 7, might not. Just really depends. GG, lates.